Hey, what's up, you guys? How y'all doing today? And I got here in 5 minutes. Anyway, you guys, what's up? We gotta talk about it. Jay-Z is officially under investigation. I think, outside of Diddy, ain't a man on social media that's been having a worse week. Everybody's taking shots at him. You know, Nicki already went in. But get this, that whole casino deal he's doing with Michael Rubin, trying to make sure he secures the bag for generations. They are saying that he is actually, listen, he's being investigated by the New York State for what he did to Dame Dash. Dame Dash is exposing what Jay-Z saw with Diddy and turned the other thing. On top of that, that casino deal that they're trying to get greenlit in Hell's Kitchen. And let me tell you something. Anyone that's ever been in New York or lived in New York, the last thing Hell's Kitchen and Madison Square Garden and all that mess needs is a casino in the middle of the city. And I say that with, listen, I say that with whatever. Do you know that the head of the Neighbors Association is also accusing Jay-Z of predatory behavior? Y'all, we got to get into this because, listen, let's get into this. I said some stuff last night that got a lot of people upset. And I said, listen, y'all, there's something y'all don't understand, okay? I hear things about the investigation. I hear things about the trial. And as much as people want to get mad, it is what it is. What did I hear? That when it comes to certain stuff with Diddy, as far as it being able to prove that things were not consensual with Jay-Z, they haven't had much luck. However, the thing that Jay-Z will be held accountable for, which will be a lot easier, is actually seeing what's going on with his financial involvement with Diddy. Y'all want people to be held accountable. Y'all want people to pay. It looks like the financial angle is the angle that is going to take him down. Now, a lot of people got mad. A lot of people are like, I think you got bought off. Why are you saying that? And I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I tell y'all what I hear. Y'all get mad. Would you be happy if I sat up here on the check chair and just lied, right? We called it some theater. Anyway, this whole theory that Jay-Z is going to be held accountable for the financial dealings. Let's also not forget, this is a RICO case. This is a money laundering case. Now, there is a chance that things are still going to go through with something inappropriate. We'll see what happens with that. But let's talk about the fact that Jay-Z is now officially under investigation. On top of that, Dame Dash is breaking his silence on what Jay-Z saw, Jay-Z and Diddy's disturbing behavior, and the whole Civic Association of Hell's Kitchen. The president is coming in on Jay-Z, saying that Jay-Z tried to bribe them with millions of dollars. And a lot of people said this is another play, just like he did with Barkley. Go in there, try to gain the community's trust, try to throw them a few dollars, sell them out, and leave things worse than they found it. Listen, let's get into this. Where y'all want to go start? You know what we actually do have to start? This is just as a side while I'm waiting for more y'all to come in. Listen, while Diddy is having the worst week of his life, and I say that with delight, right? If the Lord chooses to rain down whatever, who am I not to rejoice in the joy in the Lord's work, right? He told me to rejoice in everything he does, from the sun to the birds to Diddy sitting in jail. Praise be, praise be. Jay-Z looks like he's going down too. Everybody is sharpening their knives. I guess everything he did to be not a businessman, but a businessman is coming up to him, and people are sharpening knives and saying that he is just as culpable as Diddy. The Fed's investigation. Why all this is going on, if you were somehow closely tied to this, because Jay-Z is closely tied to Diddy, whether they can prove he did anything or not, we have to all admit he's closely tied, at least business times, with Diddy. So if you were closely tied to that whole crew, what would you be doing? I would be laying low. I would be being quiet. I would certainly be in the corner like, huh? Oh, yeah. Y'all would literally be like, where's Tisha? Huh? Oh, I was I was drinking my calamansi juice. Why do you ask, right? That's what I would be saying. But if you were Meek Mills, you would be sadly mistaken. You know what you would be doing on Meek Mills if you're Meek Mills? On Twitter, crashing out, centering yourself in a conversation where nobody was talking to you. Y'all, I'm gonna talk about this in a different video because I have some Diddy news, but I just have to share this because right when I was going on live, right, I was making bets about what time I was going to come on, right? Meek Mills. Meek Mills, Meek Mills literally posted on Twitter, I want to hire an investigative team for 100K cash to find out every specific detail involving Meek Mill's name to the Diddy case. First of all, let's continue. He just tweeted it. It sent me. I also want them to look at who is powering the media involving Meek anything to do with Buddy. Something not right. First of all, Meek, you big dummy. Who was talking about Meek Mills? Who? Yes, I know we was clowning him a couple of months ago. But at this point, Meek is a court jester. Go over and bunny hop with Michael Rubin on the tennis courts. Second of all, Meek, you paying 100K to try to get inside information on a grand jury investigation. Now, I may not be a legal scholar, but I am pretty sure that you are not the things found out in the grand jury are confidential. So you're going to pay 100K for people to engage in illegal behavior and try to get confidential information from the grand jury? And you're going to announce that on Twitter? On top of that, Meek said, I also want them to look into who's powering the media involving Meek, anything to do with Buddy. Something is not right. Who is talking about Meek in the media? Who? And second of all, Meek, you are bunny hopping from Michael Rubin, who owns half of sports media. You are literally salsa two-stepping, and I'm not even joking, with Robert M. Effin Kraft. You literally are his boy Friday. You're his boy toy. Robert Kraft is a billionaire that either controls media or knows everybody personally that controls the media. Meek, if you want to find out what is going on in these media streets, talk to the bunny hopper person or talk to the person that when y'all falling asleep on the private jet, you turn over and he's sitting right there asking them to bring him more Bengay to rub into his shoulder. I'm just saying, ask your friends. Are you not allowed to talk to them? Are you not allowed to ask them questions? Are they not your benefactors? I'm just saying. I guess he knows his job is to sit there and look cute. Some people say, right? Your mouth get you out a lot of opportunity. You got to sit there and be cute. Yeah, listen. Yes, this is live, y'all. Like, can't you tell? Anyway, Kenyon Lofton said, T said, 2 tries in 25 going to be some ish, isn't it? I'm actually not worried about 2025, but I'm interested to come forward. People are saying, I don't know what's going to happen in 2025. Nikki Blue Eyes, awesome. What's up, Nikki? Thank you for the super chat. Said, hi, T. Said, God bless for your lives. I was just going to sleep and I never see you live again. It's a 1:11 a.m. here and I'm for this. Yes, take down Jay-Z. Nikki, where are you at? Are you in the UK? Evening Governor? Okay, so let's get into this. I'm just saying, why y'all was coming in? I just had to clown Meek real quick because I don't understand Meek Mills. There's more to his tweets. I'll talk about that in a different live. We got stuff to talk about here, but I understand this. They was in the comments talking about Meek Mills as the first rapper to have CTE. Like, I don't get it. Meek is one of the most talented rappers, and at the same time, I have never seen a bigger dummy. I see why Robert Kraft got him as his boy Friday, and Michael Rubin got him buddy hopping. Meek is infinitely amusing, but again, I don't understand. Nobody's talking about you. You are not the sinner. Now you announcing you're going to literally try to get confidential information from a grand jury indictment, and not even on you, just how you might be related. You announcing 100K, and on top of that, you want to see who the media. Talk to your billionaire friends while you busy bunny hopping. Say, hey, Michael, I have a question. I know. 1, 2, 3. I have a question, Michael. So, that's what you gotta do with the bunny hop challenge. Remember all the rappers was doing, just while you bunny hop and be like, how would I find out at the media? That's what's going on. I don't know. I know Meek is very brave to be bunny hopping. And usually if a man asks me to bunny hop, I would think he wanted to see everything shake, rattle, and roll. But, with Meek, it's just like, billionaire, rich ninja things. We don't know nothing about that. Anyway, right? Potato Gun Capper said, T said, stay on their heads. All right, let's get into this, right? Who said that? Somebody said, who said they the baby oil mafia? like Meek, knock it off. No one believes these things about you. I didn't even know people were still talking about him. Like, at the end of the day, bro, let it go and go live your rich life. Didn't he just release a song, Robin Hood, or Robin Good, Robbie Boy? He just released a new song, some new music. Damn, Meek, 100,000. That's all your allowance gets you. You gotta talk to Mr. Kraft. If I had to literally be the +1 for a geriatric billionaire, $100, you better put another 0 on there, Meek. Stop playing. We know your man got money. And when I say man, I mean in the Roman friendship sort of way, We know your man got money. You better put another 0 on that mess, Meek, and stop playing. If you want us to get active, investigating, and get to the bottom of things, because I'll do it for another 0. Anyway, let's get into this, right? I got a PowerPoint presentation. 1 second. Okay. Now, first, we need to talk about the way Dame Dash just exposed Diddy and Jay-Z and their behavior. He did this video. I'm going to let y'all play. A lot of people say he is talking exactly to Jay-Z, talking about he saw what was going on. He just wanted to act like he was looking the other way. And on top of that, right? Nobody wanted him around because Dame was the one that was like, I got morals, right? Like, listen, one thing for certain and 2 things for sure. Dame ain't paying the bill, but he ain't doing anything degenerate either. So you get it when you fit in. If you do business with him, he might not pay, right? If you loan him money, you might not get that money back. Meek's that type of friend. I'm not Meek. Dame's that type of friend that if you give him money, you just better make sure, like, to loan. No, give him what you don't expect back, and y'all always gonna be cool. But Dame said, baby, I might not, but listen, I might always be late on my credit card bill, and my electric bill is always 1 day away from getting cut off because I'm always paying at the last minute. But baby, you ain't gonna find me at anything degenerate. However, look at the way he exposed Diddy and Jay-Z. Let me play the video. Well, I'll talk about why this is interesting after that, because there have been rumblings that if the investigation expands to Jay-Z's involvement with Diddy, like people think it may, for the financial side, right? Now, it might go into the sexual too. We don't know about that. But the financial side seems to be the easier get, because don't forget, Diddy's whole enterprise was allegedly seed money by the BMF, Black Mafia family. I'm sorry, Black BMF or BFM, whatever. They were seeded by, right? The Black family mafia, Black mafia family. Why can't I think of that? Anyway, but also it wasn't just Bad Boy. And when they were seeding Bad Boy with money, people are saying that Jay-Z's team also saw that as a way to get money and get those numbers up. Again, if it goes all the way back, it was 2008. I'm going to give y'all guys a little bit of inside tea. There are people that are going to be interviewed the 1st and 2nd week of October, depending on what is found in those interviews. And it looks like there might be a lot. That investigation actually might be expanded further back into the 90s when Diddy was getting seed money from. And if that's the case, Jay-Z, yeah. Roc-A-Fella Records, yeah. Y'all fighting over these royalties. It might be more to fight over. But let's get into this. Let's cue the maestro of the moment, Dame Dash. Dame Dash, if it is proven, or the feds do expand it to the earlier Rockefeller time, they are saying that Dame Dash not only will be calling to testify, but he is going to grab them dentures out of that. What do you call it? Grab them dentures out of the, what do you call the things that look like Alka-Seltzers that you put your dentures in? Out of the, right? He better, Dame, you've been getting too much money. You better buy some GD Polydent and you better let that set. Literally, I get it. From what I understand, because I had to Google it, wearing dentures is like wearing a lace front. Listen, that's what I got from it. Yeah, you really secure your lace front and do this, but sometimes you don't got 3 hours to melt the edges in. Sometimes you don't feel like having to take. Sometimes you just want to plop that bad boy on, run to the store, and you think you're cool. But then unfortunately, when you run into someone and their little kid wants you to pick them up, and you pick them up, and before you know it, they got their hand in that 30-inch bust down and it's sliding. I think that's a situation that Dame found himself in when the dentures flew out of his mouth. Maybe with the Polydent, you put it in, but then it takes time to take the glue off. So he was just like, man, it's fine. And he didn't realize he was going to be flapping them gums, yapping them gums. I will say one thing about Dame Dash, right? Because that is life, right? I remember I went on vacation. And I remember my bestie was like, yo, hold on, let me just get the story out and then we get back on. I think Dame, I give it to him because when those dentures flew out of his mouth, he literally put them back in and kept on talking trash. I said, that's right. You better tell the universe I will not be stopped. How do I know that feeling? I remember I went on vacation and my bestie was like, yo, right? And I was like, oh my God. And, I wanted straight bust down. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to be having clip-ins straightened in my hair every day. You know what I'm doing? I'm just going to do a wig, right? It was a bad wig and a good wig. And my bestie was like, yo, you should sew the wig down. And I was like, for what? And she was like, because you don't want it to come off, blah, 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 when you're swimming. And I was like, it's not going to be that serious. I'm not putting my head under the water. It's not that serious. And plus I was like, no, I want the versatility that I can put my hair in a ponytail, do this. Now I'm not I'm not sewing down this wig. Anyway, cut to, I got in the ocean. The wave came and knocked me over, and I literally did backflips in the ocean, right? The wave, it literally knocked me over, and something told me to touch the top of my head, and that's when I felt that the wig wasn't there, and I literally, furiously was going around for this 30-inch yacky bust down, and by the grace of God, I grabbed the wig was right there. It was in my head, like hands, like algae. And I literally had to run out of the ocean with the wig in my hand while everybody was on the beach looking including my crush. And I went and I ran behind the mango tree. Yeah, there was a mango tree. Well, I don't know if it was a mango tree. It was some tree, but there were mango trees on the island. And I literally plopped the wig back on my head and I strolled back to the table and sat down and had lunch like nothing happened. And all the kids at the table kept trying to reach for my hair I think I like your own hair better. I like your own curly hair. Why do you wear that? And all the kids were trying to get under the wig or make me pull it off because it was just sideways. So you know what? I feel for Dame Dash because the compartmentalization and disassociation I had to go through to march to the table and sit down, I feel it's the courage he had to have to take his dentures and put it back in his mouth. So I feel him. I'll tell you what. God was on my side that day because as embarrassing as it was to sit with a wig plopped on, and I didn't even have a beard. I just literally plopped it on my head like a hat and came out. My own hair, the curly part was still sticking under. It was a hot mess, but I put it on like a hat. And the thing is, God was with me that day because very easily that wig could have just flew off into the sea, but instead it was in my hands like a dead octopus. Anyway, let me get into this, right? Let me get into this. Sorry. Okay, so let me get into this. Sorry. So you know what, Dame? Kudos to your courage. I have been there. You are my brother in Christ. Sometimes the most embarrassing things happen, and you just got to keep going. It was a lovely lunch, by the way. Within 20 minutes, people forgot I was sitting there with a dead octopus on my head. Let's go. All right. So Dame actually gave this interview. I'm going to play it for you. And then there's another one we're going to play. Of course, this is Jay-Z at Diddy's white party. This is also where, you know what this makes me think of? The way maybe Jay-Z is so cold-blooded. Because if you look at this picture, Aaliyah is pushed up on Dame. Dame was the man back then. He was the brains. He was the charisma. Everybody looked at Jay-Z as just like a little kid. And you see in all the pictures, he looks a little, not awkward, but like he hasn't grown into jig or what. And I think maybe that's why he be so vicious, because he remembers the time where I think he wanted to be Dame Dash. I think Dame Dash had all the sparkle. I actually wonder what happened to Dame Dash. Where he just, couldn't pay his bills anymore.
What's so disturbing about this situation?
Okay, so here's I'm talking about the Diddy and the Jay-Z situation. And listen to what he says, because he is done pulling punches. Listen to this.
What's so disturbing about this situation to me is because people obviously knew this was going on, because it was going on. And the amount of people that have said, I've never seen it, it's like they must have been really programmed to be quiet about it. And that means, I'm telling you, that circle there, that's the circle that, a person like myself with the ideals and the moral fabric that I have, you would be real surprised if I would take any money to do those things. Again, how could the person that invented pause be at one of those parties? I'd be walking around with the button being like, yeah, I'm gonna leave one here. They'd be mad at me. They'd be like, get out of here, Dame, blah, 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 blah.
Now,
the
listen,
person that fabric
just
that
to
I have.
rewind it, I know what y'all thinking. Okay, right? But this is Dame, along with everybody in the industry, getting more and more comfortable and not just taking shots at Jay-Z, but making sure that they let him know Jay-Z was a part of that too. If you guys don't know, Dame used to be at those parties. Again, you see all those pictures of Dame at that party. Dame actually made a statement about, like, don't even try to do that mess. I was at a Diddy party one time. I was with Aaliyah. He never went to another Diddy party again, he's claiming. And he said that Aaliyah, he definitely never went to another Diddy party with Aaliyah. Now, why is that so important? Because you know that there is that whole history, allegedly, between Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and Aaliyah. But Dame said, those pictures you see me at the party with Jennifer Lopez, that was the first and last Diddy party I was ever in. And they wouldn't invite me to any more Diddy parties because I wasn't down with it. But do you know who was invited? His brother in Christ, Jay-Z. You know who was always there? His brothers in Christ and Jay-Z. Again, Jay-Z was around Diddy because Dame had the money and he was a man. Diddy had like the money and stuff like that. Jay-Z hovered around them, but as soon as he could, he hopped over to Europe, because Jay-Z, you see him sitting in this white party. He didn't want to be a part of this. He was like, look at this. This is a man that's thinking, there's too many people that look like me here. I need to go over to Europe. I don't like this. He's sitting there thinking, I want to go home. I want to go home. But he was super tight with Diddy. There was a time when they separated and he was always overseas. But in the last 5, 6, 7 years, him and Diddy have come together and they have gone into multiple business practices. You guys know Diddy's being looked at for money laundering, RICO, racketeering. The charges are still coming in, okay? He said this picture right here that everybody talks about, it literally was from all the same night. Now, you know that even back then, sometimes when I look at Dame, I actually like to know his backstory. I need to read his autobiography if he wrote one. Because when I look at pictures like this, all I think is like, damn, homie, you used to be the man, homie. Look at the way everybody in every picture is trying to get a picture with them or kiss his butt. Even Diddy is trying to get a picture, even though Dame ain't stupid. Look at the way Dame is looking at Diddy. Literally, Dame is looking at Diddy like, what the heck? Brother, brother, ooh. Dame is looking at Diddy like, nah, please get away from me. He already knew something was up. Like, yo, Puff, why you so close? It's not that type of party. Anyway, let's get into also, we're going to come back.
What's so disturbing about this situation to me is because people obviously knew this was going on. Because
again, people always obviously knew it was going on. Of course, he is talking about, we imagine he's talking about Jay-Z. Who else could he be talking about?
It was going on. And the amount of people that have said, I've never seen it, it's like they must have been really programmed to be quiet about it.
He's saying Jay-Z was programmed to be quiet about it. Again, I do agree with everybody that Jay-Z, I don't know. I do know that the industry is probably really worried, because if what happened to Diddy and these lawsuits, the federal government is considering sex trafficking, then that means what the game did in that lawsuit is also considered sex trafficking. Let's continue.
And that means, I'm telling you, that circle there, that's the circle that, you know, a person like myself,
Jay-Z's in the circle.
with the ideals and the moral fabric that I have, you would
look at that. He said, I might be broke. I might not do the polydent. I might not get the 4 on all 4 dental implants. But baby, one thing you never gonna say is that I sold out for $1. And you know what? I can respect that.
Be real surprised if I would take any money to do those things. Again, how could the person that invented pause be at one of those parties? I'd be walking around with the button being like, yeah, I'm gonna leave one here. They'd be mad at me. They'd be like, get out of here, Dame, blah, 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 blah. You know?
You know what? That was cute. Dame's on a budget. You know,
I'll buy New York State, not
Dame's on a budget. We got more statements he made. Dame's on a budget, and you know he needs that money for polydent. But I love the fact that he got the little noisemakers from Amazon Prime just to have his moment. He said, I'd be like, pause. I like a show, man. Sometimes, like, you don't need the special effects. You do what you can with what you have. Shout out to Dame. As somebody that's also making it work on a shoestring budget, I feel him. He is my brother in Christ. Sean Cole said, can you play Kanye West? When it all falls down, I'm telling you love. Okay, right? Sophia, Sophia Ritter said, just to hear you say, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Sean Cole said, they said Diddy was dancing in the mugshot. You know what? I could see Diddy trying to be arrogant enough to like try to charm the officers arresting him. And they was like, no, sit down. I feel like the officers had to tell him, you better sit your A down before I sit you down. Oh, by the way, did y'all see that? It's a Netflix original movie. This is a shameless promo. Did y'all see there? Well, I mean, it's promo. I got nothing to do with it, but have y'all seen the Netflix original movie, Rebel Ridge? You can thank me later. If you like Tom Clancy mixed with The Heat of the Night, mixed with Justice, watch Rebel Ridge on Netflix. You can thank me later. Rebel Ridge on Netflix. It is so good, especially if you into action, if you into fight scenes, if you into, you gotta watch it. It's really, really good. They need to make a Rebel Ridge 2 or make it into a series. It was so good. That's why I was watching that last night before I went to sleep. Wanda Perez said, that's why I couldn't find baby oil for my grandbaby at the store, because Diddy bought them all. I hope that I hope all who hurt people get locked up. J-Lo too. Listen, we'll talk about that with the J-Lo thing. But now that we see how far things are going, it looks like Ben is leaving J-Lo because, one, he's sick of her, first and foremost. But two, yeah, there's so much going on with this Diddy trial. There's so much going on that J-Lo actually had been investigated. I think Ben used that as an excuse to get the hell out of Dodge, you know? Hip Hop Street Legends, thank you so much for the super chat. Hoodies Up, thank you so much for the new member. Nikki Blue Eyes Austin said, I hope Aaliyah and his blank pregnant mistress and every other victim get justice. Beyonce isn't innocent too. Girl, listen, Sean Cole said the Game and Diddy was together with all that oil. One blood, one blood. Yeah. Free P. Diddy, he did nothing wrong. Okay, that's cool. You better get that sign and put it up in court. The feds ain't buying this, baby. Tershawn said, sounds like God was with Dame that day. I think God was with Dame that day. Thank you for the free P. Diddy. And if anybody else wants to give Diddy any shout outs, give a super chat. We'll be happy to read it. Okay, so listen. This is the whole thing about why also when I said that Jay-Z is probably going to be held accountable for financial things more than anything, this is the first thing that they are investigating and looking into it, right? Jay-Z said a month or two ago that reasonable doubt will be all his in 7 years. Why is that important? Dame is going broke. He got sued. He does own the reasonable doubt catalog. The reasonable doubt catalog is worth a lot of money. Okay. At least enough to buy Polydent, at least for the next few years. Jay-Z put out a statement, or Jay-Z's camp put out the statement saying that they believe that reasonable doubt will revert to them in 7 years. So any buyer that buys it, no matter how much they pay, he's getting it back in 7 years. And they officially filed paperwork in order to prove that they had rights for it to revert back to him, 33% in 7 years. Now, if you guys don't know, Drake, according to Dame Dash, tried to snake Jay-Z behind his back. Because you know how, like, whenever he has beef with somebody, Drake likes to buy, like, Pharrell's pendants and this and that. He literally contacted Dame through DM to buy the 33% reasonable doubts catalog, so he could then say that he owns Jay-Z's legacy and blah, 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 blah. However, when everybody heard that Jay's going to get those rights back in 7 years, people said, forget about it. It's just not worth the money that is being requested. So Dame actually came out and said this. You guys, listen closely, because this is actually a very serious accusation when it comes on. Hold on.
Filed by New York State, not me. Jay-Z's statements to the press have poisoned the environment for the auction. He has claimed that he has a termination right under the Copyright Act, and that the rights of reasonable doubt will revert to him in 6 years. In fact, he has no such termination right, and RAF is entitled to renewal term, which is now 67 years, meaning it will own the copyrights until the year 2098. Not 7 or 6 years like everyone was promoting, but till 2098, another 100 years, at least. In other words, the highest possible auction price could be more than 10 times higher than it is likely now. Given Jay-Z and RAF's actions, RAF...
Okay, so let me just read you this. This is actually really pretty serious, right? They've actually stayed the actions because they're investigating what is going on. Why is this important? Because it shows that there is a pattern to what Nicki and everybody else is saying about Jay-Z's dealings. I do often believe that if somebody is dirty in business, they probably will snake you in real life too. But what's going on is Jay-Z, for whatever reason, thought that he was going to take away Dame Dash's last chance to buy some polygrip glue. He literally put out a fake story, according to Dame Dash, and the New York court seemed to agree that he poisoned the environment for the auction. He claimed that he had the right to terminate any new buyer for Dame's stuff under the Copyright Act, and that the rights to reasonable doubt will revert to him in 6 years. In fact, they found that Jay-Z had no termination right, and that RAF is entitled to the renewal term, which is now 67 years, meaning it will own the copyright rights until the year 2098. In other words, the highest possible auction price could be more than 10 times higher than is likely now. Given Jay-Z's and Raph's actions, Raph is complicit by its inaction in pushing back against such false statements. Let's see if y'all talk about this. TMZ, Earn Your Leisure, and the Breakfast Club. Now, we already know the Breakfast Club is not talking about this at all. Breakfast Club is basically now trying to rehabilitate Diddy's image as a broken man that let his demons get ahead of him. I'll tell you one thing. Dame's talking about like the money that he could have gotten. And let's have a very special talk. Dame's sitting there talking about the money he could have gotten if he had played along with Diddy. Same thing Cat Williams said. He said he got $50 million to do some mess. And he said no. And the next day he saw all these other mofos and he was like, how much did you, I guess you took the 50 million, right? He got all this money to do stuff. And he said, no, I'm not selling my body, my soul, anything. And I'll just stay broke, right? I've noticed in the media, there's a concerted effort. And now people are trying to rehabilitate what Diddy did, who Diddy is. And also even Charlamagne the God with the Breakfast Club right now is up for sale. I'll say this, right? The Breakfast Club, I don't know if they're going to be canceled soon, because when you are like up for sale, you can't make it that obvious that everybody says yes and you're saying, oh no. You can't make it that obvious. Now the Breakfast Club is saying that they just think Diddy is a victim of his own trauma and addictions. You talk about the boogeyman is a victim of his own, Candyman is a victim of his own trauma and convictions. I mean, yeah, I guess, but at this point, he birking us. We don't got time to think about what is going on. This is actually very, very serious because it's uncovering a systematic pattern of behavior that Jay-Z happens to have. And for whatever reason, just like Diddy, when Jay-Z was doing some illegal, definitely underhanded things, a lot of people were too scared to speak out. But isn't it odd that since Diddy fell, people are creeping and creeping and creeping and eating around Jay-Z? And I know everybody wants it to be sexual. I know everybody wants someone to be accountable for what he may or may not have done to all these people. But I am telling you, the legal people are feeling that the quickest and easiest way to get him out of here with probably more time is to focus on his financial dealings and the way that he does, not businessman, but a businessman. Anyway, really quick, Sarah, thank you for becoming a member. Charmaine Stevens, thank you for the super sticker. Christy, thank you for being a member for 4 months. As we age said, with my investigation skills, I found some info on Audi News Alert without talking too much. I have info on someone who was paid by Diddy to blank Kim. Also, what is going on with the Kardashians? As we age, I'm going to do a live about Jonathan Odie. It's not tonight. It will be tomorrow. Let's see if we come up with the same information. Nikki Blue Eyes said, Tisa, I wake up in the morning saying, FB Diddy. There's my shout out to him all the way from the UK. What's up, Nikki? What's up, Nikki? Evening, Governor. All the way back from the UK. I know that's right. Okay, so let me get back into here. Right now, we have the chat currently at subscribers only, but you can be a subscriber for any amount of time. We're just trying to flush the trolls out of the chat, okay? We're trying to flush the trolls out of the chat. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Let's go. Okay. Now, Jay-Z did respond to this, and they didn't deny anything. They said that Jay-Z's attorneys just made a legal filing that might normally fly under the radar. But here, this is what TMZ wrote. But here's why it's suddenly very relevant. As we first reported, Dame's third Roc-A-Fella is going to be up. A third of Roc-A-Fella is going to be up for auction later this month. The label's only real asset is Jay-Z's 1996 album, Reasonable Doubt, which I understand to be a classic. Again, I do want to say this. Nikki's dead wrong. You know how I feel about her husband and her brother and this and that. However, in the very narrow confines of the fact of everybody saying that Jay-Z is not this benefactor, that he literally is out for self and he is always snaking people, you have to look at the way, just out of pure greed and spite, that he tried to sabotage and is under investigation for what he did of his dealings with Dame Dash, right? And again, maybe this was payback for Dame Dash in that interview when he spilled the beans on Jay-Z and Diddy, talking about people were looking the other way, and he wasn't going to take the pay. Again, Dame Dash says this stuff. Jay-Z's trying to sabotage, and it's pure greed because at the end of the day, it's not like Jay-Z's. It was Jay-Z's money. It was just an outside buyer, unless he was trying to make sure that nobody bought it so he could come in and buy it. But let's keep going. Again, these are what were planned. Jay-Z stakes future claim to reasonable doubt amid Damon Dash auction. Jay-Z files legal notice to gain ownership of reasonable doubt by 2031. This is actually really, really grimy. Like, you are a billionaire. Let Steve Stout have his Polydent fund. Okay, he filed a legal notice. They filed a notice stating that the rights of the 1996 record will be given back to the artist in 2031. Apparently, that motion was useless. There's no legal standing for it. They only did it. Dame and even the courts think they only did it so they could run this negative headline and make sure that nobody bought Dame Dash's stuff. But hold on, we have a little bit more. According to the docs, Jay ultimately damaged the city's interest in getting the highest possible bid in the auction. But Roc-A-Fella Records fired back Monday. His attorney, Alex Sparrow, saying Jay himself never issued any public statements, and the media simply ran with his termination notice and comments from his legal team. Okay, fine, but to me, it sounds like a very clever play. You put out this and you file paperwork, legal work that you know is not going to have any merit, and then you can put out articles in TMZ, Leisure Life, all this stuff, and then you could be like, well, whatever, it wasn't Jay-Z, but it was the media simply ran with his termination notice and comments from his legal team. Your legal team represents you, so they ran with comments that Jay-Z himself authorized. Okay, but let's keep going. Jay-Z is also in the hot water because Rafnam says the issue of whether the termination notice reverts the rights back to Jay-Z is woefully unright, insisting this is not the appropriate time, form, or case to address these issues. It's not the time. All right. Now, let's get into also the way Jay-Z's world is crumbling down, and he is under investigation because they are saying he tried to bribe his way to get a casino. And to me, that actually seems like what he did to the Barclays Center all over again. But I will say one thing in life: you can never run the same play twice. You can't run the same play twice. Everybody already saw what you did to downtown Brooklyn and that community. Hell's Kitchen is not down to this. Listen to what he did. The tenant leader who once ripped predatory Roc Nation casino bid was offered $20,000 monthly contract from Jay-Z's own company. They said his bid for a casino in Times Square tried to retain an influential tenant leader on the Manhattan Plaza complex, a leaked document showed. Now, why is this so low down and why people are looking at Jay-Z? Like, again, everybody looks at him as this amazing businessman, but are his dealings on the up and up? And if he's being this sloppy, how sloppy was he with Diddy? And if he was that sloppy with Diddy, how long before things start crashing down? Why is this important? He's trying to get this casino up and running. The casino has a lot of pushback. If you know anything about gambling and having casinos in neighborhoods, even though they technically bring in money to the city, they bring in a lot of other stuff: rugs, prostitution, broken dreams, people that are addicted to gambling. They're actually like deserts of unhappiness for cities that allow casinos to come in. So it takes a lot for a city to let a casino come in, especially a city as vibrant and thriving as New York City. Jay-Z has been working with Michael Rubin to get his 40/40 clubs relaunched so he can have gambling halls in the middle of the city. Okay, you might be thinking, fine, what's the big deal? The big deal is, and I guess they're going to sell Beyonce's cognac too. Like, I see the marketing genius, but the big deal is when the community pushed back saying, you are not going to have the casino in a largely brown and black neighborhood. This is like beyond having a liquor store. Again, people might come in and visit them, but the devastation it will wreak in that area, they're like, you can't have this here. Go have it like out in the outskirts. He wants it in here because he wants the betting to be the new 40-40 clubs where you can wager bets, which we don't even know if that'll work in real life because most people are betting online now. Okay. There was a tenant leader that went in front of, because when you go for zoning and to see if you can get projects approved, they let the community say something. He went in front of the community and was like, F no, it's going to destroy us. Don't let him do this. This is predatory. He is doing the same thing he did in Brooklyn, trying to act like this is going to help the community so much. And before you know it, it rips it apart. As a matter of fact, he even went in there and said that he was going to give $15 million to the community, right? $15 million to the community if they approve that casino, which I got to be honest with you, that is nothing, especially when we are talking about a casino and the money that flows there. 15 million is nothing. And they will give back to the community 0.5% of the community's gross net profits. Organizations that work at the community said, no, it's not worth it. It's going to rip us apart. Now, he sweetened the pot. He then pushed it up and said, I will give you guys $250 million in proposed grants to Hell's Kitchen. Okay. The initial was $15 million to the local community, plus regular grants based on 0.5% of the casino's performance. They got laughed out of there. The community said, you are not going to ravage us for just pennies, right? He then came back and said, we are New Yorkers. Supporting and providing opportunities for our neighborhoods and community just isn't a part of Roc Nation's ethos. It's our collective responsibility. Again, this is the same mess Jay-Z said when he was going up against for the Barclays Stadium. And it worked that time, right? He said, any proposal that wins a gaming license will undoubtedly profit. Our vision is to give back to New York and ensure that the Broadway community, Hell's Kitchen, and the surrounding businesses and areas all benefit. And not just for a minute, but for the long term. Okay. He said they are going to give, he said they will distribute a grant funding by a new trust controlled by community residents. The group contends, and the $250 million community fundraising promise would include improvements in Times Square, Hell's Kitchen, and surrounding areas. Now, what they don't tell you is that $250 million can go to the casino sidewalk in front. But also, people are saying that this was Jay-Z's way, and everybody involved in the project of trying to bribe community workers, community tenant groups, because the $250 million goes into a trust that the community decides what to do with. Now, what's unspoken? If you know anything about city planning, budgets planning, $250 million ain't ish. It's not going to make that big a difference in Hell's Kitchen. It's just not. I'm telling you, it's not. However, when it comes to somebody maybe having a pot that they can dip in and dip in again, and you use it as your own personal biggie bag, well, then $250 million has a different ring to it with the tenant rights. So this brings into the exploitation. The tenant leader who literally went the hardest for Jay-Z. Jay-Z thought that he was going to literally sweet talk them, right? And they sent Jay-Z out, right? Roc Nation Casino, right? They offered him, the tenant advisor was the loudest person saying, no, you can't do this. They offered him a $20,000 monthly contract from Jay-Z's company. 20,000 times 12, that's 240,000. They offered him $240,000 a month to sell out their community. Now, the good thing is this community advisor actually really cares about the community and was like, get out of here. We're not for sale. However, it has not escaped people's minds that people are investigating what is going on. Is this legal? And also, this is the same play Jay-Z actually ran in Brooklyn, because if you remember, the face of the casino is Michael Rubin, right? Jay-Z, I don't know how much money he has into it, but Barstool Sports, which is a billion-dollar conglomerate, they are the ones actually doing this. It's interesting to me that, right? It's interesting to me that just like in Brooklyn, every time somebody goes out and they're trying to do these predatory things on these black and brown largely neighborhoods, it's really interesting to me that Jay-Z's always the person going out. Jay-Z's always the face. It's like you want to send somebody out that looks like you to talk to so you feel more comfortable and think they genuinely care. And then he's always talking about what's happening in the community. And meanwhile, all he's doing is lowballing you so he can take it back to Michael Rubin, Barstool Sports, and be like, look what I got for you. Again, they're saying that Jay-Z was attempting to bribe people so they could get that casino approved. Yo, $20,000 a month in Jay-Z's company, and he really thought that was going to fly. Again, when you are this sloppy with things, what else are you sloppy with? This is an independent contract agreement between Roc Nation for the $250,000 a year job. That's pathetic. I guess this is what Jay-Z did to actually get Brooklyn. And again, for some reason, and this is what I mean about Jay-Z serves different people. He is not the majority interest in that. His job, just like with the NFL, just like with BLM, just like with this and that, you can knock the hustle or not. His job is to go out there in a community of faces that traditionally have been screwed over by the billionaire class. He goes there and he talks about banding together, helping the community, all the buzzwords. He looks like us, so we believe him. And then the community says, okay, we're going to trust in you. And before you know it, he literally is a Trojan horse to bring gentrification in at all times. Look at this. The guy, thank God, is it Aaliyah? Aaliyah's a woman. Thank God she didn't fall for it. She actually posted this. And again, now they are looking into bribery charges for Jay-Z. If you guys don't think that bribery, obstruction of justice, all this stuff, if you don't think it carries just as much time, if not more time, again, when we want people and you want to see something happen, do you care how it happens? Honestly, she posted this. Now, why is this important? Because I'll be honest with you. Before this Diddy mess, there's no way that I don't think there's anywhere that this community leader would have posted this, or it would have been read in all the papers. This goes to show that this untouchable cloud that Jay-Z had, that Diddy had, that all of them around them had, this untouchable cloud is turning to nothing. Look at this. Advise and support the company as it relates to community engagement. Provide strategic counsel as it relates to assisting the company with its mission to have positive social impact. Attend meetings and select mutually agreed community events, reasonably subject to contractors' professional availability and at all times in compliance with the applicable law. Listen to this. Contractor will be paid an all-in fee of the amount of $20,000 per calendar month during the term, right? Payable in cash on a monthly basis during the term. What's the term? Hold on. I'm going to read what the term is. How long does this contract last? Anyway, they're saying the term is probably for the same time as the tax, what do you call it? The tax day, tax deferment, whatever you call that, tax advantage that comes with it, which will be about 10 years. So it's $250K a year. And 10 years, well, I guess that's what, 2.5 million. He sweetened the pot with 250 million. Again, they are in there trying to run the same play they ran in Barkley. Why is this important? Because we have to go back to Onika, Nicki's unhinged tweets. Again, we looked at Diddy, but the real person that is the second biggest loser is Jay-Z. A week ago, not even Nicki Minaj had the courage to name check Jay-Z directly, and now she is. On top of that, Dame Dash is speaking about what
was so disturbing about the situation.
Is speaking about what actually happened at Diddy's house, what Jay-Z saw, what's going on. Jay-Z sabotaging. Again, at the end of the day, I don't know. I feel like everything that's done in the dark will 100% come to light. But it's very, very interesting to me that in 1 week, Jay-Z has been looking at bribery charges. He's been looking at obstruction charges with the sale of the court thing. He's been being called out by Dame Dash, basically saying, don't say that you didn't know what was going on. All you had to do was look left or right. What was it? The money? Let's also not forget, back then, look at Jay-Z. He was young and hungry. And yeah, he was that little neighborhood dope boy, but baby, he ain't had that much, and he was trying to get more. He was young and hungry. Who knows what he did for money? At the end of the day, Diddy likes to party. And in the words of Cat Williams, you got to tell him no. And it looks like Dame Dash actually told him no. He actually told him no. Listen. It looks like they told him no. Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, all right, listen, who said that? Keisha Miles said Jay-Z was involved in those F-offs, no doubt. Listen, I'll say one thing. If Jay-Z was involved, baby, let me tell you something. I said this last night. If Jay-Z was involved in a freak-off, he is going down 100%. I know people talking about, the powers that be. I know on YouTube, internet, social media, even the Grammys, everybody act like Jay-Z is the second coming of God. I am telling you right now, Jay-Z don't have enough money to keep Homeland Security investigations in check. If there is even an inch, a whip, if they see Jay-Z's left pinky toe in the corner of the screen on a freak off, that mofo is going down. Trust and believe. So listen, at the end of the day, all we got to do is trust, and all we got to do is believe. When they talk about the powers that be aren't going to go down, maybe, but the powers that be aren't Jay-Z. The powers that be are not Meek Mills. The powers that be are not Ashton Kutcher and half of the Hollywood celebrity thing. Maybe they are only the distractions. Trust and believe that Jay-Z is expendable, just like Diddy's expendable, just like everybody that runs around in that billionaire class being pets are 100% expendable. They showed us before, and they are going to show us again. Anyway, listen, let me get out of here. I want to do a bunch of different lives. I'll be back on live in 20 minutes. We're going to do a funny Diddy live about what's going on. The rumors are him getting attacked in person. The rumors of this, the rumors of that. Baby, this is going to be a funny live. We're going to clown Diddy, but we are also going to talk about a few interesting things that happened in the investigation. Anyway, you guys, let me know what is going on, and I will talk to y'all later. Also, hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. Oh, wait a second. I got to do the super chat. Sorry, guys. Sarah, thanks for being a member. We did Charmaine also. Christy, member for 4 months. As we age, yes, we'll catch up on that. Okay, we also talked to Nikki Blue. Gail Kennedy, thank you for being a member. Rox Falk said, baby girl, you have to be the hardest working YouTuber. I can't keep up with you. And I'm just watching. Great job, young lady. Thank you very much, Miss Falk. Gail K, thank you so much for the super chat. Shane Colkin said, T's outstanding coverage. Your energy is impressive. Thank you so much, Shane. I appreciate that. Kai, is it Kai or Kia? Kai, thank you so much for becoming a member. Shanika Todd, thank you so much for becoming a member. Blessed Child said, Jay-Z line, East Trenton grew me and my city. You need to talk to the Haven, the one who put Jay-Z on. Oh, Jay-Z line, East Trenton grew me, my city. You need to talk to the heavens, the one who put Jay-Z on. Okay, thank you so much, Blessed Child. Keisha Miles said, Jay-Z was involved in those freak ups, no doubt. Okay, and Kimmy, what's up, Kimmy? Me and Kimmy be going at it in the chat, right? But we always agree to disagree. What's up, Kimmy? You said this is going to get him bribery. All he needed was to get sued, and this is going to open doors for more. Exactly. Like, these financial crimes are no joke. And if you think they are, just remember one thing important. Al Capone and almost every sinister person from Al Chapo on down, maybe they all got those tax evasions or what put them behind bars. I'm just saying. I mean, among other things, but they got the tax evasion. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everybody. I'll see you here in 20 minutes. Meet me back. Meet me at the spot. Cut it 5. Okay. Ebenezer, the broker, said Tisa. Jonathan Hayes said Jay is definitely by. Okay. Okay. Listen, it ain't none of my business. Ain't none of my business. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later.